Real quick, I want to do a fair use. Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises, honor, and all glory, and infinite honor and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. Give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. Also, the apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Achwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. And
if you're middle class, you're about to be poor. And if you're poor, you're about to be homeless. And if you're low income or homeless already and on food stamps, you're about to be starving. The Republicans just released their budget proposal. In the proposal, it gives the Ways and Means Committee the authorization to cut $4.5 trillion from the budget with a mandatory cut of $2 trillion. Well, where do you cut all that money? You cut it from Medicaid. And you cut it from food stamps. And oh boy, do they know they need to pull one over on us. Lindsey Graham literally said the quiet part out loud when he got on the floor, and he said, my fellow colleagues, we need to do this since we got the mandate from the American people, we need to do this, and we need to do this fast. We need to work with urgency to pass this bill. Because he knows the special election's coming up, and they're probably going to lose some seats. When Speaker of the House Mike Johnson was asked about it, he said, no. Medicaid has never been on the cutting block. What we're going to do is we're going to remove a ton of waste, fraud, and abuse from Medicaid. And then that's going to open up a lot of money. And, and by the way, if you're able-bodied and retired, if you're middle class, you're about to be poor. And if you're poor, you're about to be homeless.
The homeless are scared now, especially in Houston, Phoenix, Austin. They're getting picked up in vans and SUVs and just never to be seen again. Now, I don't know if that's the Trump administration cleaning up the streets, or there's a particular homeless guy talking about how the elites are hunting them. And he's scared out of his mind. He's like, no, man, we're being hunted. Because if you think about it, with the trafficking kind of coming to a halt, they got to find other ways now to get their fix, or whatever sick perversions they have, or whatever they delve into, they have to still fulfill those needs, especially if it's in the satanic realm, right? So it would make sense to me that homeless people are disappearing. Are we a game to these people? Like, maybe we all are. Maybe we're all being played. Maybe Trump unwittingly, maybe the elites are sitting around a table and it is the Hunger Games right now. I mean, we are getting ready to come into this purge scenario. The homeless are scared now, especially in Houston.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, right? Which is talking about the AI. AI is speaking, right? Basically, they say that they're going to let the law be their strength, right? And AI is going to bring forth the law, right? Through this draconial measures of basically surveillance, right? Hapsur, which means gospel, which that's the version that they have in Israel, which is reason why the place of Palestine looks like rubble, right? I mean, it's uninhabitable right now because they use that Palantir to strike certain buildings and things where they were hiding, and it's supposed to use like a mathematics, scientifical data, saying if you strike this point, this will happen, and it basically, so to speak, scattered the sheep, so to speak. You know what I mean? Scattered the people, right? Which some of them are Israelites, but for the most part, they're Ishmaelites. But and this is what they're doing. They're scattering. They're scattering the sheep. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And they're going to use this AI to do it. This Palantir, right, which is designed to be like the Hopsir, right? And then we'll have the image of the beast, which is the law, right? Whether you can buy anything because your social credit score is too low, or your carbon footprint is too high, right? This is what's going to be issued. Or if you said anything against the government, said you didn't like it. That's why I said you should have nothing and be happy, because you better be happy, or consequences, they'll turn it off. They'll ding your points, and then whatever you was able to buy last month, the month before, the following month, you won't be able to purchase all the things that you need to be purchasing, and then you will have to hopefully, if you need medicine, hopefully you have bought the medicine that you need, and then think, oh well, I'll wait till next pay period to get my medicine. Because if you did that, and then you said something against the government or whatever, they can ding it, and then when your next month come around, you're not gonna have medicine at all for the next month. Or hey, they might put you into one of these Hunger Game type situations, like this guy said, allegedly, right? And you say so. But this is where you're headed. Both should both speak and cause as many as would not worship, right, the image of the beast should be killed, right? See, and they can have you killed, right? So, and that's ultimately where you're headed, which ultimately the elect is not going to do it at all, right? Even though there's going to be some that get beheaded, but for the most part, there's plenty of elect that ain't going to die, right? I mean, the Lord has whatever amount of number of the elect to be killed or beheaded, and you will not be able to see that number. Whatever number the Most High through His Son has, that's the only number of the elect you will be able to kill. And after that, there will be no more of the elect that you could kill. And it says, and He calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, right? And as if you noticed, as that guy was speaking, if you're middle class, you will be poor, right? And as you see right here, this ain't saying He calls us all both small and great, middle, or rich and poor, and middle class. There's no middle class, and that's how the elite is setting it up. There ain't no such thing in the middle. Either you're rich or you're poor, right? It says a free or bond to receive, and see, and either you're free, and the only way you can be free is if you're following the ways of the system, right? And the wave of the system is you have your new God, and your new master is AI, right? Through their draconian laws, measures, right? Being the bio measure, right? The biometrics. That's how they're going to do it. So it's going to be a bio measure or biometrics, how they measure all things, right? Whether you're worthy to go to the store or not, or drive down the street, or take a scooter or whatever, take a bus, they're going to declare if you're able, which China's already been doing it for quite some time. It says they're right. Yeah. Free or bond to receive a mark, right? Karagma, Karax, Grapho, right? In their right hand or in their forehead. And that no man or woman might buy or sell, save, right? To save yourself, right? He that had the mark, right? The Karagma, the Karax, the Grapho, right? Which is following the system, right? And if you don't follow the system, you will be killed, right? Or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? Which basically the micro C-hip, right? The grain of rice has all of it, or the one that's in your the the cryo, was it the brain chip, basically, right? You know, which is it Elon? I believe his thing. No, there's more. There's more than just Elon. There's another company which they're further along than Elon on the brain chip. I can't remember the name of it, but there's another company too. And yeah. So this is Psalms chapter 10, verse 2, NLT. Said the wicked arrogantly hunt down the poor. See, that's what that guy was saying. That was happening, right? Hunting down the poor, kind of like that movie with Ice-T, right? When the rich people were hunting the poor people, you know. It says, let them be caught in the evil they plan for others. See, and that's ultimately what's going to happen, bro. Because once the elect is set up, hey, we're going to do that to you in the kingdom. You're going to be running through forest and all sorts of things, and we're going to be chasing you down just for fun, right? That's what the elites are forget, man. All these things that you're doing is going to come upon you. For they brag about their evil desires. See, and ultimately that's what they're doing. Hey, you will have nothing and be happy. You will eat lentils and bugs, right? You know, they boasting about it. You know, these are the things that they're pretty much doing. They're boasting about what they're doing. Yeah. There's an Illuminati. You know, they basically come out and say it pretty much almost now. You know, because you people are so docile and weak. You know, you know. They boast about it. You know, Trump is, I'm a executive order that and executive, and we're gonna go in there, we're gonna take Doge, and we're gonna do this. And then he's boasting. He just pulled out. You know how many billionaires are in his cabinet alone? Just all the billionaires. See, and we always knew that the Republican were for the rich, but somehow the way Trump is so what is it called? You know, charismatic. People forgot that this dude is rich, and that the Republican Party has always been for the rich, right? Because those people used to be the Democrat Party. They switched over from being the Democrat Party to being the Republican Party, right? And then the people basically, like, what is it, what do you call it? Like the what do they call the shoot? Because they always talk about it in the Catholic Church, like these Jesuit type people kind of got their way up into the ranks of the Democrat, and basically that's their whole thing, is to manipulate the less fortunate to make them think that they care about them. But that's the reason why all these things are happening and they're not really saying anything. They're making it seem like they're having this battle and let's go to court for this and but really they're you know, they're 100% down with this. That's why no one's saying anything about the Epstein list. That's why nobody's saying anything about much of what's going on, right? Because what ignorant person gets all your stuff from a country and then you put 100% tariffs on that person where you get everything from? That's crazy. In a recession, in the point where you have not enough money that you shut down the government, right? But let's give 100% tariffs, right? But no one has anything to say. Not even these dumbass Trump supporters, or even the other people. It really don't matter. This is all the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai at the end of the day. So, and that's what they do. They brag about their desires, right? They praise the greedy, see? The rich. And that's what Trump did. Trump brought in all the rich, greedy people and put them all in his cabinet. And they all just happen to be Jewish, right? So we've been saying that these people are not the people of the Bible. But you're gonna find out the hard way. And curse Yahweh, right? Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakal Kodash, and his people, right? You know? Matter of fact, let's see if I can find out. Yeah. So this is Forbes, and it says President Donald Trump has more billionaires in his administration than any previous president. So even previous presidents must have had billionaires. So yeah, that's crazy, right? But he has more than any previous president, with at least 9. He counts plenty of billionaires as friends or fans. 16 visit him at Mar-a-Lago between the election and inauguration, right? So I'm not even going to all this, but yeah. But as you can read right here, down in here, why everybody else is poor and struggling and all this other stuff. You got these billionaires who they're making cuts for, and a lot of you simpletons are okay with them getting the cuts, right? Right now, 415 billion, which really you're looking more into the trillions, right? Right? See, and these are these people, right? That's under his, his cabinet, right? His administration, right? And that inauguration goes into witchcraft, right? And that's what they're doing, pulling witchcraft spells over you simple people. Yeah, so you got more billionaires than any previous administration, right? They praise the greedy and curse Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The wicked are too proud to seek the power of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? They seem to think that the power is dead. They like say that ain't nothing gonna, and God is, hey, that's what they say. God is dead. That's what they try to tell you, right? There is no such thing as God, right? Because their whole thing is their God, right? There ain't no God. God, if there is a God, he's dead, because we're God. We're making all the rules. We're making all the things, and ain't nothing can stop us, right? so to speak, which it goes into this. Yet they succeed in everything they do. See? So, hey, there must not, we see succeed in everything we do. There ain't no God. God, if there's a God, he's dead because we're God. We're the new God. We took over. We killed all the old gods. And we will be the new God via through this micro C hip. Right? Right? And we could treat you like the Hunger Games. We could snatch you up off the streets and no one will say anything. Right? Because you're still talking about millions of people missing in that alligator Alcatraz, and you haven't heard a peep from people. Not on the news, not people protesting in the streets. Nothing. These people are just, you're talking about millions of people are missing. Not 50 or 10 or, and even that's strange. Right? But 1 million at one time? That's insane. Right? But they could do that. Right? Because yet they succeed in everything that they do. They do not see, they do not see your punishment awaits them. Right? See? You're being punished, which that's what's happening to a lot of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. You're really actually being punished. But eventually your punishment that you're getting is going to be upon them. And then guess who's going to be holding the whip? Is going to be you, because you're Israelites. And then you get the exact vengeance on them via through the power and the glory of Yahweh Bashem Shai, being that what the Lord is setting up the elect. You're going to come back as children through the loins of the elect, and you're going to inherit a kingdom, a righteous kingdom, that you get the exact vengeance on them, right? In a righteous manner, right? Says they sneer at snare at all, snarl at their enemies. Snare at their enemies, snarl, snare, however you do it, like, basically. And the other one says they puff up at them, but it's like they don't care. Like, oh, you trying to, you ain't saying, because in their mind, they're God, right? They think nothing bad will ever happen to us. That's the mind of the elite. We will not be, we will be free of trouble forever, right? Because like I said, it said what? Rich and poor, free and bond. So being that they're always going to be rich, they're never going to be the poor or the bond. They can't get put into the Hunger Games. They can't get hunted down. No one can tell them that they went off unless they end up going against one of the elites, and then they snatch their ability or pull their micro C hip, shut their micro C hip down, and then they get cast down to the bottom like everybody else, right? But most likely you can see through the Epstein list that they ain't finna do that. They're not gonna bite the hand that feed them, so to speak, right? So this is Luke chapter 21 verse 12 in the NLT. It says, but before all these occurs, right? Because you're gonna have earthquakes, famines, death, pestilence, all these different things, right? But before they occur, there will be a time of great persecution. See, and them even grabbing up these homeless people is a form of that great persecution. You know, unaliving all sorts of individuals for their, for their organs, or even sending them off to was it Libya now that's big on slavery, right? Sending them to these different places where, because slavery never really technically went away, it just went underground. It wasn't just a mainstream thing. No pirates and all these different things never truly went away. It's just not really spoken of too often, right? Unless they can make you the villain, right? Right? Like those, what was it? Those, they made that movie with Tom Hanks. I can't remember the name of it, but the Ethiopian dude, and he was basically like a pirate, and even though he's a Ham, he has a dark, a so-called a dark brown complexion, which brown, no one's really black like that, like they try to take black, but he has a dark brown complexion. He has this look, so they want to give people these things that look. See, anybody who look, even if they look similar, like they're evil, they're bad. See, this dude was a pirate. See, these people are, but then at the same time, they say that these Ethiopians are Jews, right? See, right? So it's crazy. But I mean, the point is, there's going to be is great persecution amongst all people, especially God's people. You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, though you may not be someone in the faith, the true faith. You may believe in JC or Buddha or Allah, but you're not in the faith, right? The true faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But it doesn't stop them from knowing, because they're wiser than Daniel. They know that we're the Israelites. So you're gonna, no matter what so-called faith that you fall under, they know you're the Israelites. You belong to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, whether you know it or understand it or not, and they're gonna come against you. So it is a great persecution coming towards you and for you. And then the poor so-called white people, they're just collateral damage. They don't care about their poor, right? You're just another poor Edomite. You're just a two-time loser, and that's just facts. It says you will be drugged into synagogues and prisons, right? And now their synagogues is just this AI system, so to speak. Their religion, their prophet, their it's basically AI, for them, and these prisons, these concentration camps, these what's it called, re-educational camps, and also places where they behead you, right? These are things that's going to increase, right, in this time, right? It says, and you will stand trial before kings and governors, right? And Donald Trump has definitely made himself a king, right? He's not. There's no such thing as him being president anymore. He's going into draconian laws, and he's there's no constitution, right? So, they got these rich billionaires. That's basically these people that's in the place. So they'll be like these governors, so to speak, right? Because you are my followers, see? And they know that we're not with what they're talking about. We know that we know, they know that we esteem them as counterfeits, right? Because they are. We're in it. In the Bible, it says that Jacob, right, the Israelites are going to be billionaires, and then we're going to be in the highest office in the land, right alongside the president that becomes a king, and just start making all these draconian laws that doesn't exist, right? We're supposed to be the little guy, right? We're the underdog. We're in that. Are you the underdog when you're the international bankers? When you control everything, you control the banking system, the world banking system. Let's go all the way there, right? The world banking system, all the way to the news and everything that's everything. The highways, the freeways. If you say it's shut down, they're shut down, right? And that's in multiple places in the world. You're the one who's implementing the micro CHIP to the entire world. How are you? See, because you are the counterfeits, right? And we esteem them that way because we know what it is. And our end is to be blessed, as the scriptures say. It says, but this will be your opportunity to tell them about me. And they definitely know that we're the children of the Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And this will be our opportunity to say, hey, we're going to give them their judgment according to the scriptures, right? So don't worry in advance about how to answer the charges against you. So they call you a domestic T, right? So the Lord said, don't worry about what you're going to, for I will give you the right words and such wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to reply or refute you, right? And so the Lord's going to have you break it down, Lord willing. If I'm that, the Lord is with me, and I have that spirit to be able to break it down, give them their judgment, right, and break down whatever else the Lord has for you to say, that they will be able to reply or refute you, and even those close to you, your parents, your brothers, your relatives, your friends will betray you. They will even kill some of you, right? And that's the time that you're living in, where it's going to be a beneficial. Matter of fact, the brother was showing a video. Hopefully I can find that, or the Lord willing, the Lord allows him to send it to me or something. But it's a video where the guy was able to receive 50 credits for taking a picture and showing you so-called breaking the new laws, right? And he got rewarded for snitching on you, for telling on you. And that's the type of thing that is going to occur. Or even they may even set it up where, how these renegades, these militias, they, this person is wanted dead or alive type situation. So they will even kill you. Yeah, see, they'll betray you. They would even kill some of you. See, and it may be, hey, I know this person's my family, so you got to be careful in that day. You may finally see your family member. Hey man, come on. Hey, come on. Hey, you need some help. I got these other things. I can help you. Here's some water. Here's some this. Here's this and that. But it's a trap, and it kill you. And that way they could present you to the governor or whatever, the kings, whatever, and then they get to receive their so-called bounty. Because that's the type. It's going to be quite a savage time, right? But it's all to push forth that the digital control, the digital surveillance, the AI surveillance, right, on a high scale, and to put forth the fear, and it says and everyone will hate you because you are my followers, right? Because they know this, it tells you the word of the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is grievous to the heathens,
So they're all grieved because we're pushing forth the vibration of the kingdom to come. And they want to hold on to this kingdom, man. So they're going to hate you, right? But be not, hate you because you are my followers, but not a hair of your head will perish. Okay, Khan. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai. Right? See? And that's the time that we're living in. See? And then that's what the Lord said. Then shall they know who are my chosen. And hey, it says, by standing firm, you will win your soul. See? So we got to be unmovable in this truth. Right? Khan. Unmovable. Right? Unaffected. Oh, we're gonna kill you. We're gonna behead you. We're gonna take pictures and we're gonna report you to the authorities. Hey, unmoved. All right. We're gonna starve you out. You're not gonna be able to be part of the system. You won't be able to agree. You won't be able to buy and sell without this Karak's Grapho. We're gonna push you out. Hey, unmoved. Right. We're gonna win our souls, Lord willing. Right. And when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies and where a people before a place, so Jerusalem is you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and what is exactly what's happening? You're being surrounded by armies. They're literally bringing in the army, the National Guard, the Marines, the police, because the police is basically an army in itself. They bring it in. Literally, an army is compassing you, and none of you are waking up and saying, "Wait a minute." You're gonna need divine intervention. You're gonna need Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash, man. Right, pumping on all cylinders, man. It's all go right now, all in, all hands on deck. Should be when you will know that the time of it. That the time, then you will know that the time of its destruction has arrived. Right, the time of America's destruction, but also 2/3 of the Lord's people, man. And then we're gonna know 2/3 of the Lord's people are their destruction is at hand. So great judgment is about to go out, and it will behoove you to know that this judgment is about to go out, and start begging for forgiveness. You may or may not get it, but it beats just sitting around like nothing's gonna happen. You know. 64 and 1 in the NIV. It says, "Hear me, my power, the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, as I voice my complaint. Protect my life from the threat of the enemy. Hide me from the conspiracy." Right, and that's all this is. Right, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's exactly what it is. It's a conspiracy fact. It's what this is. It's a conspiracy, right? Con meaning what? With. Spire means to breathe upon, and that's what they do. They speak about these in these meetings and how they're gonna do things. The world health, the world economic, the G6, G7. The BRICS meetings, all these meetings, how they're gonna do this and manipulate this to control the world, the society, right? Because even that BRICS thing is not much different than any other thing, because they still have to speak about how they have to implement the micro CHIP to everyone, right? You know. Right, because what was it? The Vietnam shut down all those accounts, but I did a lesson about Ethiopia, right?
gave all their citizens a deadline of next year to have all their biometrics in, or by next year their accounts are going to be shut down. And now this guy from the UK, the Prime Minister of England or London, or I'm pretty sure it's the same, but then sometimes they mention it like it's two different places. But that place over there said that they have their digital ID and everybody must do it, or you would not be able to buy or sell, which is not the mark of the beast, but that's the where it's headed, right? Showing you that there's a totally different system that's happening, right? And these are the enemies, right? And that's what King David, right, had spoke about, right? It says, hide me from the conspiracy of the wicked. See, for from the plots of evildoers, they sharpen their tongues, right? In these different meetings, they're speaking about, oh yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to implement the CV19. Everybody's going to have to take this jump shot. And then that's just the trial. And then we're going to come back and we're going to bring this whole thing with this digital ID. We're going to force them, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And you don't have it. You can't do it. You can't eat. You can't do anything. But that's still not the mark of the what, right? But it's definitely headed in the right direction, right? Because the only thing is the next to do is to put it in you, because they're already conditioning the minds. They're calling it the biometrics. Bio meaning body, metrics is basically an amount, like a measurement of how much ever you're going to have to pay, or the measurement of your carbon footprint, or your blah, 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 whatever your social credit score. And how it depends on how high your social credit will allow you to buy or sell, right? That's the best way to kind of put it out. Yeah, they sharpen their tongues like swords. So they're having these things in these meetings. And and aim cruel words like deadly arrows, right? Right? Talking about what? Declaring an insurrection act, right? So yeah, Trump is talking about declaring an insurrection act, which basically will indefinitely make him the president, right? That's why you could see this absurd thing about him running another term. Well, that's absurd. Every president can only have 2 terms. You cannot run again, right? If you're going according to the law. But as you can see, he's not going according to the law. It says Psalms 64:2, KJV, says, hide me from the secret council, right? That's them having those meetings, saying how they're going to do this and that, and how they're going to perform, and how they're going to manipulate the minds of the people in order to lead you like cattle to be destroyed, right? Right? That's why the Lord said, my people are led as a flock to the slaughter. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to lead you as a flock and herd you to, oh, well, I guess they said everything's going to be fine and peaceful. And he's just making these things. But armies are compassing Jerusalem right now. And the Lord said, you're going to know destruction is coming when armies come past Jerusalem, and you're a people before a place, right? So it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, right? And we know who the wicked is, the self-proclaimed so-called white man. The earth is given into the hands of who? The wicked. They're ruling, right? From the what? Insurrection of the workers of iniquity, right? And that's what they're doing. They're working their sins and the way that they move, right? And they're gonna use it. Oh, I got this
I could declare the Insurrection Act, and I'll just do this and that. And they work everything that they work iniquity. They build houses on top of each other. That's iniquity, right? You change the man's landmarks. That's iniquity, right? You shave off the beards of your face, round the corners of your beard. That's iniquity. You eat meat with the blood. That's iniquity. You eat shellfish and all these different abomination foods and put it and stole it on high, lobster and crab and all these different things, and you stole this on high. And what is even what's the other one? Oysters and all this other stuff, and they stole that stuff on high. But those are abominations. So everything you do, right? You don't perform a land Sabbath. You don't even. Matter of fact, you're not even doing a true jubilee, or even a because they keep talking about a reset. Well, you're supposed to every 7 years. You're supposed to give everybody a reset. No one should have to apply and put paperwork in to file bankruptcy. There's no such thing. You should supposed to just every 7 years clear the slate. See, but they don't do that, right? But they work. But by these things, they work iniquity, right? Put you in a trap. So you have debt, right? A batyat, a debt, right? Says who wet their tongues like swords, you know what I mean? And bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Even bitter words. That's crazy. Thing was going on, but I got to come back. Even bitter words that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, right? Which is the elect. And that's ultimately what this is. And really, you other Israelites too. You know, even though a lot of you 2/3, you're initially, you know, you're the chosen. But there's a chosen within the chosen. So, you know. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the Lord's dealing with the elect right now, which is the perfect, which that's who they're coming after. But you look like us. You are us. Just you have to come back as children. You have to come back. You suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. See, and they're not looking at, hey, these men are men of the Most High, and they're not fearing it, but they will. They will fear. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commute of lying snares privily, right? So this is, through the laws. Oh, well, we'll just say that there's this Insurrection Act, right? And by law, I can do it, right? They say, who seeth them, right? It's basically going back into what the Illuminati, right? The shadow government, the one who actually puppets and rule over Donald J. Trump and all these other prime ministers and presidents, and they rule over them. They tell them what needs to be said and what needs to be done and how to do this and how to do that. But they figure, hey, nobody can't see me. I'm not the front guy. I'm not the person that's out there, right? It's really these other guys. So, nobody see me. But the Lord sees you. The Lord knows who the real rulers are, right? And through the AI, they search out iniquities, right? So through AI, they're gonna search out your faults and your this and that. Like I said, you're going over whatever, however they do it, your social credit score. They're gonna search out. Oh, nope, yep, there's a fine. Yep, let's take the money out of your account. Now you're not able to ride the bus or the plane, or now you can't go to work. Oh, you didn't make it to work. Now you're fired. Now you're homeless. Now you're just completely tossed out to the wind. All right. And then that fear will put a lot of people in line. Nope, I'm gonna follow the way that the system is. I'm gonna have nothing and be happy. Hey, I'm happy. How are you doing today? Yeah, knowing you got to go every day back home. You're gonna have grievous sores. You're gonna have pus coming out your hand where the micro C hip is at, and then you got to walk around and smile, because if he shuts off your thing, you won't be able to eat for the next whatever, or they could just shut it off permanently. And then you're dead, because then you're dead to the Most High, and then you're dead to the world on top of that. So you're doubled. You're boy. Yeah. It says yeah, and that's what it said, that they accomplish a diligent search, right, through AI. They're gonna accomplish all sorts of diligent searches, and whatever they can't see or do, they're gonna have people take pictures and report you, right? And they're gonna, right? And it says both the inward thoughts of every one of them and the heart is deep, and the thoughts goes into the heart, which means the mind, la'ab, your mind is deep, and this is their because it said inward, so this is like their innermost desire to basically rule over people in such a manner, like cattle, right? Treat you like cattle, treat you like you're nothing. Yeah, well, to them you are nothing, right? But the power, the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahushai, shall shoot at them, right? So Yahushai is coming back regardless, and that's this whole thing what they're trying to prevent. But Yahushai is coming back. He's going to shoot at them with arrows. Suddenly, they be wounded, right? And this time they're not going to have the deadly wound and be healed and return. They're going to have the wound and they're going to die. This system is, the complete system is going to be a failure. So you get in the micro C hip and doing all these other different things. I mean, I'm pretty sure dying of hunger and starvation and thirst is not a pleasant thing, but it has to be far greater of a thing to do than to go against the Lord, man, right? So they shall make their own tongues to fall upon themselves, right? All that see them shall flee away, right? And then, of course, these things are going to start unraveling, which some of it is now. And some of these elite people are coming out, they're saying this, they're saying that, and people are starting to wake up and they're starting to see. But the system has to be completely implemented through the planet Earth, right? Yeah, so this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 70, which is an apocrypha, which is canon, which is part of the Bible. Whether you accept it, believe it or not, it is part of the Bible. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Holy Bible, for there shall be in every place and in every city, right? When Jerusalem is compassed about with armies, and wherever you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are at, you're Jerusalem. And guess what's happening? Armies are compassing you. So in every city, a great insurrection. And that's what he's talking about. I'm going to implement the Insurrection Act, right? So it's going to be a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh. And really, it's really about them coming against them that fear Yahweh Basham Yahushai. See, and a lot of you don't have that faith built up in Yahweh Basham Yahushai. You're still believing in JC and all that other stuff. So that's why the scripture said that, yeah, your parents, your brother, your sisters, your family, your friend, your relatives are going to turn you in. Or they may even try to kill you, because they're going to feel like, well, it's their fault. And they're going to be calling on JC and nothing's going to happen. But damn, every time these dudes call on Yahweh, things are actually happening. I hate you for that. I hate you that I didn't listen. So let me see if I can set him up so I could kill him. Let me see if I can set him up so I could turn him in. Right? And these are the things that a lot of people are going to experience, man. Even your relatives, even your family. They're going to hate you, man. Because you feared the Father, Yahweh, from long ago. When they should have. They seen you. They seen what was going on. And then here it is. Even now. Even right now. Yeah, oh, there you go. Even right now. See? These are things that, hey, it's happening. Right? They shall be like madmen. See, and that's, what is ICE doing? Are they not showing you that they're being like madmen? You've never seen, you know, that type of thing. And they're not even turned all the way up yet. So they showing you a glimpse of what's to come. That's a small glimpse. They should be like madmen, right? Going through some type of projects in Chicago, ripping the doors off of every door in the thing and pulling everybody out of the building, the entire building. Right? That's like a madman, sparing none. They had the children out there in their clothes. People saying, man, look at those old people. The old people and the children, man. F those children. F them old people. We don't care. Right? But shall spoil, right? Yeah, they took from those people, man. They spoiled them. Robbed them of their sleep, for one. And then, for two, what do? You ripped off their door? Who's going to pay for that door? Is the CIA or the FBI or ICE going to pay for the door that they done ripped down? Probably not. Probably not. Most likely not. And we're coming into the time of cold months, right? It says, and destroy those that fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. See? And really, ultimately, listen, see that thing? Fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Hey, it's a running thing, and that's really what it's all about. And all you other people are just collateral damage because you happen to be Israelites. And then just you other, you heathen, you just happen to be here in America. Jacob's trouble is going to be everybody's trouble, right? For they shall waste and take away their goods, right? Even you being a homeless person. So you got your little homeless encampment, you did it and that. Hey, they plan on taking away that. Why? That's why he just said being homeless is illegal, right? They're going to take away even that, right? Take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, right? Whew. Yeah. Should I stop there? No, let's go right here. It says, and then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. See, and that ultimately, that's what's going to happen. Through all this insurrection acts and these different things, and killing or unaliving individuals, whether they're poor or middle class, which will be poor. The poor will be hungry, and those that are already poor will be unalived. Right? And but in the midst of all that, you're gonna know who the Most High has chosen. So, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. We give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, you Achwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and a Baba Ball, Kwam Yasharallah, and a Baba Ball.